What a stupid fucking system. Sorry about that. That took a while. Hi, everyone. Did you know that YouTube streaming system is probably the worst dog shit I've ever seen in my entire life? I don't understand how they're so late into the game and they can't do something as simple as not fucking up the idea of like a scheduled stream. It's so weird, the system that they have, right? So for context, on Twitch, if you have a scheduled stream, it shows up separately. It's like a whole separate schedule. It's not tied to a thing. Like you can't show up to it to like wait in like a waiting room, obviously. But you also can't mess up like starting it. It always starts the same way for everything. Effectively, what I mean by this is when you start a stream, it doesn't matter whether you have one scheduled or not. It'll just always go. In YouTube, it's a different stream key for every single stream. I don't know why this. If you're using the RTMP system, you can't have a different stream key for like you can't reuse the same stream key to go from your normal live stream to a scheduled live stream. Which means the scheduled live stream function on YouTube is useless because as a person, if you want to use the same system over and over without having to copy paste the stream key over and over and over, you have to go to YouTube and just never do like a schedule system. You have to post a schedule elsewhere. But they have a scheduled like stream system, but it requires a whole different setup to get it going. And I don't understand why. Theoretically, it makes sense because it'd be easier for them if it was more explicit on the streamer side, right? For the content creator side, it's much more easier for the YouTube side if they're more explicit about where they want to push things. There's no need for the servers on Google side to guess, okay, well, is this a part of the scheduled stream? Is it not? It's easier for it to be like, okay, well, I trust whatever you say, you figure it out yourself. However, it's significantly worse from a purely UX perspective because why the fuck would anybody use that feature? Like, I don't get it. It's such a useless feature that probably runs into more issues than like not, and it's so undocumented how it works that I feel kind of bad for people who have to use this on a daily basis. Again, you see it now, and I think you definitely see it in the way that people they took the YouTube contract to go stream there, and then they go back to Twitch, and it's like, okay, they know what's up, right? They've seen what the platform can do, and they realize that the platform sucks. Same thing with Facebook, right? With Facebook, you didn't realize that I go live on YouTube. I do, so it's an alternative. If you want interaction here, then you can come here. If you don't want the interaction, but you just want to watch, you can watch here or there. I can't say otherwise on whichever one it is. I will say this though. My TV has a YouTube app that supports live streams, but not a Twitch app. So clearly, I mean, some people, you don't really have many choices in some cases. So it really depends on what you want. But if you don't want the interaction or the chat, then you just go over and you do it on the thing. Also, welcome to today's stream. I hope that you're ready to have mental damage inflicted on all of you. But yeah, it's a very strange issue. I wonder why like YouTube doesn't fix this. To be fair, I think YouTube's pulling out of the space. So YouTube has not renewed any of the contracts for any of the YouTube streamers, right? One could infer two things from this: either that the streamers that themselves thought the contract wasn't worth it, in which case that's kind of the death knell of the platform, right? You really don't want to admit that as somebody trying to make a competitor to the platform, because if you do, then what happens is that people are going to look at it and then be like, okay, well, why should I bother? When these other larger streamers who have very large YouTube followings, right? Like I think of, I mean, even like, I don't know, like who's the latest one who like came back? I think it was Saikuno, like something. That guy has like millions of viewers on YouTube on his videos alone. And even he thought Twitch was better. So it's like something's going wrong there, right? Or it's the YouTube side going, well, we're pulling out for whatever reason, right? And usually on YouTube side, it's because the person who was working on the project got promoted up and out, and so it's like they no longer like need to care about that project, and so it's left to nobody. And so it languishes. But hopefully, it doesn't go down that route. I think more competition is nice. I just recognize that right now the system sucks, especially when you think of it in terms of other platforms too. So again, we even see streamers come from the Facebook side, and then they're on Facebook for like 3 years. They take a massive bag, right? This one back when the whole Mixer thing was a major like thing, right? So Ninja took the Mixer bag, Other streamers took the Facebook bag. Other streamers took the YouTube bag. They've all converged back onto Twitch. Like very clearly, there's something here. Even the streamers who go to Kick, like you notice that it's not as widely talked about or widespread. Like there's something weird about how like it's not as good as whatever is there is on like Twitch, right? Because on Twitch, I can just talk to you all. Like it feels like there's a very different vibe here, right? Compared to anywhere else, which is crazy to me because it's like, how does this make sense? So, it's the way it goes, but it's fascinating to see it all sort of go down. Obviously, something's going wrong there. I think in general, these platforms just don't get it, and Twitch was the only one that really understood how to make it work, which was low friction, consistency, right? Consistency in your system, so it always works the way that you expect it, and then a chat system that's easy to extend, but also comes with a fair amount of features built in that it's kind of good. And then from there, you have this like years of like Twitch culture apparently, which I kind of see, right? Like most people who come in here, they're like mostly similar in like vibe, right? Like all of you have a similar vibe in this like Twitch chat. Although maybe my Twitch chat is more of an outlier, like compared to like say I guess like Kai Sanat or like I don't know any other live streamer, where it's mostly a wall of like emojis, emotes. God, emojis. I am old. But again, even then, it seems pretty good. Compared to like YouTube side, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like YouTube live comments. It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen before. I've seen like just like flat out racism for no reason. I've seen like the craziest things ever. I constantly see stuff like what's like happening. Like people, I've seen somebody go on a rant about the Earth is flat in a League of Legends like live stream on YouTube, and then somebody else said Faker sucks, and then something career something, and it was like really bad. And I was like, okay, this is like way too much. On Twitch, you would never get that. Well, you would, but it's like people would like endlessly shame them, right? On YouTube, because there's no identity to it. Like it's not really a long-term consequence. It feels like the platform doesn't really care about what you do there. People just say the weirdest things. When I started watching Twitch about a year ago, but have been finding it fun. Same, yeah, same. I think before then, I think I only watched it for maybe a year and a half before I started streaming. And yeah, it's a very different vibe, but it's a nice vibe too. It's very, very fun. But yeah, it's fascinating to sort of see and learn the various different cultures. Because honestly, the YouTube side is like wild, right? Not to hate on my YouTube viewers. Listen, I see the messages. I just can't. I'm contractually obligated not to respond to them. Like quite literally. I don't know what happens if I break that rule. So, know that I see you. Know that I know that you're probably not as bad as you probably. It's probably the your close cousins are on like YouTube, but I've seen it get bad. Okay, I've seen it get bad. The only thing that's really good on YouTube, I haven't seen a single spam bot yet. For some reason, spam bots really do not like the live chat on YouTube. We're not here to just to talk about YouTube and streaming issues though, because that's like boring, right? It's really only a thing that only affects you if you're like a streamer. In which case, there isn't really much of a point. We're gonna be doing a couple things today. It's gonna be a lot of fun today. One, we're going to live in a painful way. Why? Because tomorrow I'm off. I just found out now. So sorry, I don't know. My schedule's all fucked up. Nobody gives me any fucking time. So it's like I'm kind of doomed. And so I just need to like wing it every single day. It's very annoying. It's annoying for you. It's annoying for me. Okay, but thankfully it's actually for like something good. So it's really good. I don't mind it all usually. I just hate how it's so fucking last minute. I hate it. So yeah, we'll have to figure things out. But tomorrow, I'm off. I'm off until probably Wednesday or Thursday. Again, I have no clue. Work chaos. Yeah, work chaos. Yeah, let's just call it work. Yeah. It feels like work at times. So we have like Wednesday, Thursday, I'm off. So it's mostly work, and then I'll be spending time with my wife and our puppy because she has like a weird tooth. So Missy has like a weird tooth issue. We don't know why. So we're gonna go take her to the vet. We're gonna go get some better food for her. We're gonna see what's up with her because she has not been eating. So we're gonna see what's up. Two, when we come back, there'll be a bunch of interesting things that we'll be talking about too. Is computer on fire? I'm about to show that. Yeah. We'll be doing a bunch of interesting things when I do come back, which is until then, as well as an MMO day, because chat let me know on Discord, a very handy thing. Did you know that Final Fantasy 14, the hit MMO, what's it again? Final Fantasy 14 hit MMO mean? The critically acclaimed MMORPG. What is it? Have you heard of the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV with an expanded free trial, which you can play through the entirety of Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heaven's Ward expansion up to level 60 for free with no restrictions on the playtime? Has the best Mahjong simulator out there that's free to play. So apparently, it's one of the best games to play Mahjong on. So we're gonna try to during the MMO day we're gonna do like a rush. We're gonna rush all the way from level 1 to Mahjong. And I'm gonna make a new speedrun category called level 1 to Mahjong free trial any percent, okay? We're gonna see how far we like go. I don't have an account that I can use for stream, so I have to make a new account that's only for stream. Yeah, we'll see if it's good or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see because I think it's gonna be fun to go into the Mahjong. Hey Chad, welcome. Because I've heard good things about the game besides the Mahjong, and I played it a bit before, like very early on, so level like 20, and it was kind of fun. Like I enjoyed it. It wasn't like bad for me, even though I do miss. You know, Terra started something special. Terra started like a whole genre of games where you go and you play actively and you like swing your sword and like stuff. And then we decided to go backwards and have like tab targeting, where you have to press the tab button or click on someone to use a skill. Yeah, I don't understand why. I feel like we've gone backwards in many different ways. Hi, chat. Welcome. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yep, plays Final Fantasy 14 to play Mahjong. Yep. I mean, to be fair, again, everyone in like chat has said that this is a great Mahjong simulation. So we'll see how good it is. But before we do that, we need to do a couple things today and again the day after. Today specifically, because of last night and for the past 2 nights. Okay, so yesterday I was off because I was busy and tired. So I just kind of like KO'd, woke up. Then my buddy was like, "Hey, you want to continue playing Remnant 2?" And I was like, "All right, fine," because he got Remnant 2 on the PS5 for free. It's part of the PS Plus program. And then I got addicted to this loop. I got addicted to the loop of pain and suffering to then feel a reward, like a satisfaction. It's like a release, right? Like you hold in a poop for a long time and then you release. That's what it felt like. So today is going to be a mix of hard games with Castlevania Order of Ecclesia, which we never finished. And I know some people will say it's not that hard, but compared to the rest of the games, it's really hard, okay? And then we're going to move on to some more sandbox. So we're going to be programming as well. Chat, don't hold your poop. No. Hold it so until it goes into your stomach, then you can vomit it back out. Yes, that actually happens. So today's going to be a fun day of me probably raging and also doing things. But we need to wake up first. So I've got some things to show you guys. I've got things to show you before the game, and then I've got things to show you during the sandbox segment. So today's split, and every split until the end of the month is going to be programming topics. So I'm going to avoid most programming topics until the midway point when we swap over in about 4 or 5 hours or so, right? That's roughly what. Instructions unclear. Pooped in my computer chair. No, thank you. Okay, well. Better wipe. Found some cool things, though. Remember Warframe? I still play the game a lot, actually. So Warframe, I don't have enough time to play Warframe. It's really sad. So between Warframe and Path of Exile, I have 0 time to play either. However, in Path of Exile, it's a bit easier because there's a bit of an idle mechanic where your town is like building stuff. But even then, I still have struggles like trying to keep up with it because you need to eventually go out there to make money to bring back to your town in order, to make stuff. So it gets kind of complicated the further you will go. And then on Warframe, the wait time is way longer, and that you can kind of keep waiting there and staying there until you've like built everything. Like the building takes like hours, so it's like nice to just pop stuff in, do like a lot of the dailies, weeklies, and just rush them really quick. Do some like target farming, do all the random events. Like the Super Soaker one is kind of cool right now. It's really weird. It's a strange Super Soaker thing. Another event that's happening right now is preparation for Warframe 1999. And we went to the old Earth, right? We went to 1999 Earth where people were hanging out while listening to music, dancing in their very bootylicious frame skins. And then there's actually a contest. Well, not well, I don't know if it's a contest or not. It was really hard to tell from the thing, so I'm gonna pass it on to all of you because I know that we have a few artists here who may be interested in this. But basically, if I can find the actual link, I'm so sorry. Also, just a reminder, the song, the Party of a Lifetime song, is actually like there. It's available for you to listen to. It's on Spotify and stuff. So if you want the song, please go listen to it. I'm tired of it because I've just been in that world as my general AFK world, trying to find stuff like random secrets and like stuff. And that now I'm tired of it. But if you still like it, then it's good. So yes. Step 6 is a poop chat. So they're accepting submissions for a special 1999 themed Tenogen round. So what is Tenogen? Tenogen is like their user-generated content system. It's basically their system where they curate. I think it's only 3D models. I don't know if you get to do stats. I think you used to be able to do stats if you paid like a lot of money. Because I remember they used to have like a very, very large incentive if you like founded the game, became a founder, and they let you like design things. And I think they stopped that, similar to like Path of Exile. But as far as I know, it's effectively the way for you to create 3D models for anything and then put them inside the game. So far, it's mostly warframes and weapons and stuff like that. But it also include particle effects too. But I don't know how they do it then necessarily. So basically, it's the user-generated content system for cosmetics, and they're actually accepting submissions until September 27th for Warframe 1999 to figure out what's like going on. Hey, shut up. And then we're gonna see how this goes, right? Because it's like you've got all this interesting mix of sci-fi plus old age stuff. Because we're in 2024, right? So it's an interesting sort of like alternate timeline where back in the 2000s, like right before what released two songs released in the 2000s. Stop Streaming. This is before Toxic by Britney Spears. This is before Bye 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 by NSYNC. This is before this is before Drop It Like It's Hot. Wait, no. Drop It Like It's Hot was in 2004. This is before quite a few like major NSYNC songs, right? This is before Avril Lavigne Complicated, before It Doesn't Really Matter by Janet Jackson. Damn, that's actually a lot of songs back in 2000. This is before One More Time by Daft Punk. Wow. People living in the 90s were musically like bereft of stuff. Jesus. So yeah, we're going to have some good stuff here. It's going to be a lot of fun to sort of like see what people do because the style is very interesting. It's a weird mix of whatever sci-fi thing that they've made, going all the way from Dark Sector all the way into Warframe as it is today. Dark Sector being their older game and sort of like the progenitor of like their entire like design style, it feels like, into what it is today. And then seeing what people can make up with this. And you can see they say like, okay, what's your budget and stuff, like the maps and stuff. There's actually quite a few things that you can do, and it's pretty cool. And their tools are surprisingly complex. We're not gonna play around with the tools. I'm just showing you this just in case for you to like see. So, but one thing that's interesting is they actually posted a bunch of reference images, so you can sort of see like, okay, how are you supposed to like make this stuff look? Because it's this weird mix of, see that, like very high tech sci-fi into very low tech. This is just like a regular bag. Right, it's pretty cool. And if for some reason, because you're back in the 90s, it has to have speakers on the side. Because, you know, if you're gonna build a cool techno backpack, it has to have a built-in boombox and an antenna for ultimate reception. It's pretty cool, actually. Free labor? No, not free labor. It's both free labor, but also that neglects the reality of like there's a certain market out there that really enjoys making things based on another IP from a fan perspective. It's just not a way to incentivize people to do free labor. Because free labor is it's more so specifically defined as you're quite literally forced to do something for free. Otherwise, you don't get to leave. Like there's some level of coercion to it, right? When companies do this stuff, where it's like a contest for creatives to sort of put their skills on display, it's a very different vibe where, again, you can just not do it. You can just leave and not do it. It doesn't really matter. But if you're somebody who really enjoys the IP a lot, and you're making fan art of it anyways, and you're doing stuff for the game anyways, now you have a chance to get paid for it too. Because the reality is they can't pay every fan artist. Because there's more fan artists than there would be people who can like make the game and people who are making money from the game. So It'd be very complicated to sort of figure out. Okay, everyone gets $1, or everyone, or like one or two people get like $10,000, right? So don't think of it as free labor. That's actually probably the worst way to take this. Think of this as a way for that specific subset that's already there to hang out and already make this kind of really cool art to potentially get rewarded for it in the sense of this stuff goes in the game, and then they take a profit cut. So basically, if your item gets in the game, I'm pretty sure you get profit sharing for the entire lifetime of the item. As somebody who like might want to make fan art for something, that's a pretty good deal if you're already making fan art for like stuff, right? And it's a pretty good deal if you just want to make money off of this like ecosystem of like players. Because again, you might think, and again, it's another argument against the whole free labor statement. It's why I really want to emphasize UGC markets are not the same as free labor stuff, because free labor markets aren't really markets. It's more like somebody just holding a gun to your head and telling you to like do stuff, right? This is quite literally, you get to piggyback off of what Warframe has done, basically, to sell your one backpack for $20, which is pretty good, and then you get a profit cut of your $20 backpack. But you know, Warframe the game has spent 11 to 12 years building up their entire ecosystem of like players. So that's a bad take from you. That's just a bad take. Do you remember getting a bag with speakers built in when you were a kid? Really? Yeah, you are cool. That's actually really cool, huh? What was in it? Lime. Okay, guys, just they're asking what else is in the drink. Okay, what else is in the drink? It's not just lime. I'm sure there's other ingredients. All right, chat. You gotta. God. I didn't teach you any of this. All of you are just assholes for no reason. Anyways, it's a really cool set of reference art. And again, it really shows in detail closer up like what the style is going for. Because in the trailer as well as the world, you see it in the environment. You see it in the characters. But it's really hard to see it in the items themselves. Like you see some items like around the fast food stands around that like 1999 Earth. But you don't see stuff like the backpack and stuff. So it's really cool to see these renders of these characters, especially up close to in like a different lighting, because the lighting is actually impossible to see inside the game. I think the lighting is probably the worst part of that aspect of that world. It just feels very, very like impossible to see anything, which it makes sense. You're in a dilapidated old mall. They're just trying to figure out something. It's a pretty cool system actually, and I can't wait to see what people can like make off of this. Again, it's not free labor. That was a horrible take. You have to think of this as a way for them to give back to the community that's already doing this stuff. That doesn't break the bank because they're owned by a food company. And again, I brought this up last time. A lot of people don't know this. They're owned by a food company. Digital Extremes Leyu. This is a really weird piece of history that most people don't know about. Okay? Leyu Technologies Holdings. They started out as a food company. And then at some point, I think one of the sons that took over, I think they were really into games. They started acquiring a bunch of game companies, and then they just became like a food company that happens to have most of the like a lot of major games out there. Basically, this company became Tencent overnight because one single person from this like dynasty family, who ended up being really like rich, started to go into games, and then they got bought by Tencent. So again, a chicken business is now in games. It's actually insane. They tried to acquire, I mean, what was speculated to be SNK, and it kept going down. They got Perfect World. They got Digital Extremes. I think they got quite a few other things. Then they went bankrupt at some point, and then they got acquired by Tencent. Or they got close to, like, bankrupt. So it's fascinating to sort of see what people are, like, doing here. So yeah, it's a cool concept. If you want to join that contest, you should. If you already are doing stuff for it, if you're not doing stuff for it, then I mean it's opt out. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, right? Basically, do what you want to do, and if you don't want to do it, then you don't have to do it. It's not, no one's forcing you to like do it. It's safe for you to say no, and you're allowed to leave that place and not do it. Then there's a dry lime drink just without water. Okay, well I'll let you guys talk about lime. I have no clue what your like lime drink is. There's this thing as well. Then with that, I wanted to show you. Chat posted this as well, because we also got a bunch of technology posts as well. The channel has like a ton of technology posts actually. I think we've actually gotten a lot of interesting information about tech. We're not going to go too deep into it, because one of them or two of them we're going to save for the programming stream. But we got one chatter found this. This is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen. There's a function within Haiku that asks you, "Is your computer on?" Returns one if the computer is on. If the computer isn't on, the value returned by the function is undefined. This doesn't make any sense because just think about this. You can't run things on the computer that's off. And then there's a function called "Is computer on fire?" Returns the temperature of the motherboard if the computer is currently on fire. Smoldering doesn't count. The computer isn't on fire. The function returns some of the value. This feels like a joke because there's an SKCD comic about heat up keyboard, heat up the workflow, about the workflow. It feels like it's based off of this one comic where it's like, changes in like version. The CPU no longer overheats when you hold down spacebar. And then longtime user says this update broke my workflow. My control key is hard to reach, so I hold spacebar instead. And I can configure Emacs to interpret a rapid temperature rise as control. That's horrifying. Look, my setup works for me. Just add an option to re-enable spacebar heating. And it's funny because the idea of it makes sense. Because it's like, okay, what happens when you build a feature that is clearly not supposed to work, and then it's clearly not supposed to be there, or you know what I mean? It's a bug, but then people think it's there, right? It's a great comic. Idea for a silly collab game. Remind me to remind you later. No, chat. You should just send the message now. You have all the time in the world to do it. You can't put that on me because I'm currently here. I'm not gonna remember for you 8 hours later. You're sitting there right now. You're sitting there. You can just step away for a moment, do it, and you won't miss anything, right? You will never miss anything on the stream. So you might as well do it now before we forget, because I'm not gonna remember in 8 hours. I got too much shit to like deal with. All right, and not from a real life perspective. I'm just saying like we have a lot of things to do on like stream. I'm not gonna remember for you. Chat member also showed us this. So the thing that I found, that we talked about yesterday about the NumPy and the Cython and stuff during the SMBox stream. Well, the day before, it's actually different from what they mentioned. So what they mentioned is a whole different library that automatically differentiates between native Python and NumPy functions, and then it actually optimizes it all the way down, which is interesting. Uses a bunch of new pieces of technology that I haven't heard of so far, like XLA and AutoGrad. So I'm curious how these are. But if you're doing a lot of like data crunching and number crunching, then you should use this. You're not going to remember for you. What were we talking about? I don't know. And so you can sort of use this for yourself and figure out what's like going on, right? See if this is going to work for you if you are using a bunch of NumPy. And I don't really know people who use NumPy like in my day-to-day basis. It's kind of weird. It's a surprisingly niche field of stuff where it's like mostly scientific stuff. I don't know enough science people. I know science people who have like, or are they in education or they've left science, so I don't know. I know more science people that work on websites than I do science people who work on like actual scientific applications. Like my buddy goes to school for science, has a STEM degree, can't find a job in it because there's no jobs in it in like Canada, And so it's funny to me that like everybody knows about this stuff, but I can't find a single person who could talk to me about this stuff. But it is nice to talk to them about web dev. There's a lot of people who get into other fields who just happen to go into regular programming, who basically they don't use any of their knowledge, but they use their perspective. It's a very cool thing. Sorry, I'm reading something. It's a cool thing where their perspective is fundamentally different from like the perspective of somebody who like just goes into it, right? It's interesting the things that they bring up for their perspective, even if a lot of it is like wrong. Like a lot of time is just wrong, and they're using terms that don't really make sense. But sometimes you hit gold, and it's like, okay, this is a cool perspective, good way to look at a problem and compose it down, right? Most of the time, that's usually wrong, but it's interesting to sort of see, nonetheless, to see the different wakes of light that people come from and how that affects how you think, and how deeply ingrained it is too. Anyways, so that's all I want to show you. There's a very light on the just chatting thing, because there's some more fun stuff to show you during the programming segment. It's a fun thing that a chat member found, as well as I found, probably at the same time actually, because we probably followed the same dude. But on Twitter, there's this thing called the Game UI Database. While I was gone, it released. So that morning I found it, and then they posted inside of the the Discord channel too, and I was like, okay, good, perfect. So we're gonna be showing that during the sandbox segment because I think it's gonna be good to look at that to see how to build our game. Not even just to take the ideas because I think most of it's patented. So I'm not gonna bother taking the ideas because I think that's copyright hell. But more so just to see what state of the art is out there and what people are going up and what people are getting into to see what's going on. However, we're done talking because that's for later during the programming segment. I want to suffer today with and without all of you. So again, once again, the disclaimer: if you don't like this stuff, you can just leave. I don't actually care. Live your life, do your thing that you want to do, right? But we've had a hankering for suffering on this channel. My buddy and I have been playing through Remnant 2. And my muscle memory came back, and I beat the final boss by myself, and it was a lot of fun. But boy, oh boy, has it made me want more suffering. We're going to play some Castlevania, Order of Ecclesia. But before we do, I have a slight song for you. It's from the OST, actually. It's a very interesting OST song that I really, really enjoy. It's fascinating to see how good Castlevania as a whole sounds like, because you wouldn't think Castlevania would sound so good. Like you wouldn't think most games would sound really good, right? Especially for back then, you like think I at least for me, I think of most games as being very stale back then in various different ways, right? And then you realize that no, like when you have a good game from all the way back then, like you have a really good game from all the way back then. It reminds me of like Super Mario or Metroid or any other like game soundtrack. The OST stuff is really really good. I need to find the goddamn thing. Sorry, I need to find the link to it. Oh god, give me 1 second to find the link. Okay, well planning failed. It's fine. I can find it separately. Again, the segments for the MMO day as well as the other weird days. That's actually mostly entirely done. It's just unfortunate that this one particular segment I forgot to post the link. Oh god, where's that one channel? There's one specific channel in YouTube that has the high quality rips because they're actually the official distributors of it. Oh, here it is. Son of a gun. Is it Castlevania International? I don't know if it's Castlevania International. No, it's not Castlevania International. God, where's that one distributor? You know what? Here, Castlevania. Blah, blah, blah. How does Google find it easier? What the fuck? What's the point of this? That's amazing. That's actually amazing. Castlevania Sound Team. Here we go. Why does Google find it so much easier? Why does YouTube search suck so badly? That's strange. Huh. There we go. Anyways, again, Castlevania is kind of an interesting game in general. It's a long history game. It has a very, very long lifetime in general. It's surprising to see how long this game has been alive, actually. Especially when you consider what's been going on at Konami. So I make sure the volume is like good. No, it wasn't this one. It was this one. What was the name of it? Oh god, sorry. Give me one second. All the names are in Japanese, so I need to remember which one looks vaguely similar. It was this one. This was the one. Right? That's it. Yeah. That's it. So Castlevania is interesting, right? In terms of history, Konami is currently a shell of itself. And what's funny is that they're still making games. So we've seen the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, I think. This is probably going to start like a longer trend of games that they're going to remake. Well, the Snake Eater remake, I don't know if that's 2 or 3. And we're starting to see like a very different time at Konami for their games, right? Effectively, their entire games market has been gutted. It's fascinating to sort of see them move towards the mobile space as well as the gambling space, which is sort of what the main company has always done. But now, because the original players that were there are sort of gone from the production teams of various game titles, we're seeing them sort of fall apart. For instance, one of the first hits for Konami games, actually on Google, is the My Konami Casino slot machines on Apple. Yes, on Apple for iPhone and iPad, you can get the Konami My Casino slot machine game. It's at 4.6 stars. I don't know why, but you can also get rewards that takes you to the MGM Grand in Vegas for a lunch buffet for 60,000 coins. You can stay in the Bellagio for one night for $100,000. That's pretty cool. There isn't a single thing in here that makes me say, why is this Konami? But you know what? They are a gambling company now. And it's sad to see because the amount of artistry that was in their older games was fantastic. A lot of their older games had a lot of artistry in them for years and years and years, right? Not just Castlevania, but Metal Gear Solid as well. And then I actually don't know what else they made. So let's just say those two for now because I didn't prepare the list games. I just know that all the games were really really interesting and like good and like fun to like play. It's just sort of sad to see them, I guess, like get gutted as a company to go into purely whatever they're doing now, which like sucks. It's just money grab. From the zombie Metal Gear Solid survival game all the way to the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, which might be good. We're seeing a whole different era. So I thought I'd bring us back to when it was interesting and good and fun, but not necessarily fun because it's old. Fun because it is kind of very high quality. Again, this is a soundtrack from 1997. It's going to be very, very loud. It's a song from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you were stuck in this one room like I was for a very long time, you'll recognize this song immediately. But please enjoy. This is the woodcarving Petita song from Castlevania, which again, the game doesn't really tell you the names of the songs, so you just have to listen to it and hear it and find out what it really is. The song is surprisingly high quality for a 1997 song, right? And again, it's not to say that people didn't make good music back in 1997, but I just expect songs from that time period to sound very crusty. But apparently, that's the highest quality recording that we possibly have of that song. It's by the official team that was effectively, I don't know, sponsored or hired by Konami to, I guess, find the original copy of that, make it HD, rip a really good recording of it from the original recording. I don't really know how that works, but I'm assuming they just had like a speaker up to it, or like a microphone. And so you end up with a very interesting recording that has all the nuance of what it was back then. So you hear a lot of the weird, low-quality compression artifacts, but still, allows you to listen to the song in a much higher quality than you would have possibly on the original PS1, or even on the PSP remake of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's a great song that really emphasizes this style that they were able to nail in this game, that you don't really sort of see in any other game. It's weird with the style of this game. It's that weird gothic mix of it's that weird mix of gothic plus fantasy that works out so well. It's like a grounded fantasy, and like what happens if all those stories of Nosferatu were real, and if they weren't fake at all. But hopefully you enjoyed that, because we're gonna go right into another Castlevania game, Castlevania Order of Ecclesia. Very similar soundtrack, but very different gameplay style from what that game was. That game was more of a slow burn RPG where you have a lot of the trappings and, pros and cons, effectively, of your average RPG system. You can outscale, you can get too strong, you can sort of break apart in many different ways. What if Ecclesia felt like a throwback to their original formula of get good or die trying? So it's going to be a lot of fun, probably. Okay, so remember when we found out what a open-chested bodysuit is? Apparently, most of the links I got were from Walmart. I didn't know this. So Walmart in Canada, surprisingly family-friendly. You go there. Sometimes they have a McDonald's, but they just sell stuff, right? I don't think there's a single Walmart in at least Toronto that sells lingerie. You go to the online store for the Walmart thing from those links, right? It looks a lot like those fake brands that you see on Amazon. Like the brands where it's like, like it's like a 5-letter word that like doesn't mean anything, it's just a 5-letter arrangement, and then they like sell like random clothing for like $2. Apparently apparently Walmart has that same marketplace as Amazon. It feels kind of weird for them to have that. Although it makes sense because Walmart is technically like a marketplace kind of deal in terms of your retail experience, at least if you're like a producer of like goods. If you're like a distributor of goods, it's very different, but if you're a producer of goods, it feels a lot like you're just going into like an Amazon marketplace that has a retail space. I just didn't expect it from them, of all places. It's fascinating to sort of see the I guess like the Amazon way of doing business kind of bleed into everybody's way of doing business. Like everybody's doing the same thing now. So you've got like Amazon doing they're not doing it. I think they're suffering from it. They're suffering from the fact that like a lot of different businesses take their platform as a free for all to just sell things, and there's no real vetting of the business behind it. And there's even reports of like, the way that they fake reviews is they'll switch the product out but keep the same listing. Because for some reason you're allowed to change the product entirely. And so you keep all these like 5-star reviews for saying that doesn't exist anymore. And I actually found one of them a while back. It's now gone, but it's fascinating to see all these different like business paradigms pop up. This idea of like mass production, and it's spreading towards like other retailers here. Because I don't remember Walmart ever even having this. Walmart, for better or worse, right? Despite the reputation that it has, always struck me as a much more curated selection of like stuff. Whereas Amazon has always struck me as like anybody can sell, which is a good thing, but also you recognize like the dangers of what that means, right? It's fascinating. It's fascinating to sort of see it evolve. I'm not looking forward to it, but hey, at least we know what the open-chested bodysuit is. Sadly, it doesn't change the costume inside the game. Give me a moment to set things up, and we'll get right into Sandbox as we develop more things. Okay, chat. I'm out of here. I won't be back until maybe Saturday. I don't know. Saturday is until then, as well as Sandbox. Sunday will be okay. Whatever day I'm back. I'm scratching my eyeball. Oh god, that feels good. Oh, I just nutted from my eyes. Here's your schedule. Okay, here's your schedule. Saturday. So, comeback day. Okay, this is my comeback day. Okay. My comeback day. I know I'm not really like gone or anything. It's just like a normal day off, but like comeback day. Okay, this is on the comeback day. Until then, and every day, the daily is Sandbox to end with. Okay, how do you do the symbol? Sandbox. So comeback. Okay. D+1 the next day. Okay, the next day. MMOs. What does this mean? Weird MMOs. So continuing this trail of weird MMOs, like nostalgic baits from long ago. And Final Fantasy 14 speedrun to the Golden Saucer to play Mahjong. Final Fantasy speedrun to Mahjong. Okay? I don't know how long this is going to take. I actually don't know. This is an iffy on maybe Sandbox. So iffy Sandbox. Iffy Sandbox. Yeah, that's simple. Yeah, exactly. Look. I can do it. Sandbox. Iffy on Sandbox, okay? D+2. I forgot. Something cool though. I forgot what I planned. Something like that. Something cool. This is your schedule for the next week. There's more things coming. I just need to make sure that I can actually do it all in time with the Sandbox stuff. So, depending on the progress, by D+2, we'll see if there's more really heavy cool stuff. Otherwise, it's just the normal finishing games and then Sandbox. Finishing games, Sandbox. And some days only Sandbox, right? So it's really a mix. We'll have collaborations again throughout the week. I just need a moment to relax and collect myself and get things going. Bye, everyone. I'm out. I'm done talking. Go live your life. Go watch Yoshi's. You love Matara Can't Even. Whoever made their mascot is a Mighty Gene Species. You can't live without that guy. Goodbye.